Hi everyone, and welcome. In this video, we will talk about print forms. We will learn to configure print forms in a text editor and use them in Platform to generate documents filled with specific data. In Platform, print forms are templates that are used for generating documents in an application based on a specific set of data. For example, it can be surveys, applications, contracts, and so on. Most often, these documents are created in the doc or PDF format. Platform has a special object for working with print forms. This object is called report. Since this object is what allows generating documents based on print forms, the word report is sometimes used as a synonym for document. For example, one can say generate a report, meaning generating any document represented by a certain report object. This document can be a questionnaire, a contract, or something else. Let's have a look at a specific case. This form here contains a table of clients. When we select a client from the table and click the button below, a text file is automatically generated for this client based on a pre-configured template. We can open this file to see how it looks. If we select another client and go through the same steps, we will get another document adjusted for this specific client. If we compare these two documents, we will see that they have the same structure but contain different data depending on the selected client. To configure document generation in an application, we'll need the following elements. First of all, software for working with print forms, which must be installed both on the server and on your local computer. Note that currently Platform works only with LibreOffice, so make sure it is installed and configured for the Platform instance you use. Number 2, we need a plugin for configuring print form templates. This is a special plugin developed by Case Platform and distributed with each Platform instance. Number 3, we need a configured print form template. A print form template, or just template, is a file in the ODT format that includes the invariable content of the document, its style settings, tags for calculating the values of variables for each specific dataset, etc. Number 4, we need a UDEM object called report that I mentioned previously that is used for linking print form templates to Platform applications. And finally, we need a UDML function report used for generating reports in a process or on a form. Detailed information about installing and configuring the required tools is available in the documentation in the section called Report Builder. As I mentioned before, print form templates are created and configured in LibreOffice. To enable LibreOffice to work with templates, you will need to install the Java virtual machine and the plugin I referenced earlier. Note that the documentation states the required version of the LibreOffice editor. Meanwhile, the Java virtual machine can be of any version. After LibreOffice has been installed, take a moment to check if Java settings are configured correctly. If everything is okay, you can move on to installing the plugin. For that, go to Tools, Extension Manager, click Add, and select the plugin on your computer. If you do not have this file, request it from your coordinator, as it is always provided with the current version of Platform. After installing the plugin, relaunch LibreOffice. When you open it next time, you will see an additional set of icons for working with print form templates. Let's create a new template. First of all, we need to link the template to the server that contains the application from which we will generate documents. To do that, click the cog icon. In the opened window, specify the server address. If it is specified correctly, the list of the server's applications will become available in the Application drop-down list. From there, select the needed application. Next, update the metadata package. If the application is not very complex, the update will be performed pretty fast. After the update has been completed, click Save. As a next step, we need to bind the template to a specific type from the target application. To do this, Let's open this application in Platform and look at its structure. This application contains several types. Let's open the Clients type. This type contains attributes that reference other types. For example, the Address type, this is a collection attribute, the Documents type, the Generated Report type, this is where we will store the generated document, and also it has some simple attributes such as date of birth, first name, last name, nationality, occupation, and phone number. In our case, we want the template to display all client data possible. Therefore, when binding the template to a type, we need to pick a type that has all the data required, so all variables specified in the template can be calculated in the context of this type. Let's return to the text editor. Click on the chain link icon. We can see the list of types from the connected application. Select the type Clients. After that, a blue box appears, notifying us that the template has been successfully bound to the Clients type. Now the template operates in this type's context, which means that the Clients type has become the context type of this template. Save the document. After saving, we can start working with it. A template can contain multiple elements. It can contain plain text, attributes and search methods available to the context type, and UML expressions. You can also set conditions based on which one or the other set of elements is displayed in the resulting document. Let's have a look at how to configure these things. To start with, let's enter some text. We would also like to display relevant data of each client for whom the document is generated. For example, their last name, document information, etc. For that, we need to access specific fields of this client object. This is done by using the corresponding expressions in the template. To insert an expression, click the plus icon on the plugin toolbar. In the opened window, you can see the expression name field, where you can set the name of the expression tag. This expression tag will be displayed in the template. For example, if we want to display the client's last name, we can call it last name. On the right side, you can see the list of attributes and search methods available to the context type. For this expression, we will select the last name attribute. To insert the attribute in the editor, double-click on it. After the expression has been inserted, we can validate it. For that, click the V button at the bottom of the window. If the expression is correct, we will see the corresponding message. Now we can save the expression. After that, a gray field containing the tag name will appear in the template. When using the template for a specific client, this expression will be substituted with the actual last name of the selected client. We have inserted an attribute of a simple type, string. But what if we have an attribute of a complex type, let's say type reference? For example, we have this attribute application that references the generated report type. In this case, insert the attribute in the same way as before. Set the tag name and validate the expression. We can see that now two tags have appeared, an opening one and a closing one. This pair of tags represents an object of the reference type. Between these tags, we can refer to specific fields or attributes of this type. For instance, we want to display the name of the application. Save the attribute. We can see that another tag has appeared inside of this application object. Apart from expressions, between the tags you can also enter plain text and configure its layout. When it comes to collection attributes, meaning attributes that contain several values, their values must be displayed through a table cell. For that, insert a table cell into the template. If necessary, you can eliminate its borders. In the same way as before, select the needed attribute in the editor, for example, address. Again, you can see two tags that have appeared in the template. Inside these tags, we can refer to separate fields of the address object. For example, we can display the name of the street or even several fields at once, the number of the building and the name of the street, separated by space. Apart from attributes, you can use UDML expressions available in the application designer, for example, the function text. Let's see how we can use it to display some document information of the client. In this expression, we use the text function to convert some of the attributes to string. These attributes are document type, which is the value of a classifier, document number, which is already a string, but in this case we use the text function with it as well, and validity, which is a Boolean value. Between these attributes, we specify the text that will be displayed in the template along with attribute values. Validate the expression and save it. UDML expressions you use don't necessarily have to be connected to the context type. For example, you can use the expression today that returns the current date. You can also use various conditional constructions, for example, if, then, else. Let's set the condition so that if the client's last name is Smith, then the last name is displayed in the resulting document. And if it's not Smith, a notification is displayed stating that this last name is invalid. As a result, this field's value in the resulting document will depend on whether or not the condition is met. To edit an already inserted expression, select the needed tag and click the pencil icon. This will open an editor where you can modify this expression. This way, we are building the template of the document. After it's completed, we must load it into the needed application. For that, we will use the application object called report. In the application designer, click the plus icon and select Report in the menu. Specify its location, name, and select the UDM type it will be bound to. This is going to be the context type of the template. As the next step, load the ODT file of the template from your computer. Click Save. The report object will appear in the application structure and its workspace will open on the right. In the workspace, you can edit the report's properties. If you need to modify the template itself, make the needed changes in the text editor on your computer and then load the modified file into the report object. In addition, you can delete, download, and test the report here. Let's see how this specific template looks. It is configured for the client's type. It contains the elements we discussed earlier, the client's first name and last name, the branch type expression that checks a certain condition and outputs the corresponding branch type, local or foreign, some UDML expressions such as text or the one outputting the current date, a collection of the client's document details, collection of addresses, and the client's personal information. To test the report in the application designer, we need to know the ID of the target client object. For example, let's take the client with ID 3. In the reports workspace, click Test Report on the toolbar, select the format of the resulting document, for example PDF, and enter the client's ID. After that, we can view the generated file. It has the selected client's personal data, document information, addresses, and the current date. The only thing left to cover is generating documents in an application's interface. In this case, a document is generated on the form using a table and a button. Clicking the button triggers this event that calls a server script. The server script calls the report function that takes 3 arguments: the path to the report application object, the client for whom the document is generated, this client is stored in the client form attribute, and the format of the resulting document. And this concludes the report configuration procedure, which brings us to the end of the video. We have learned to configure printform templates, link them to a platform application, and use them to generate documents based on specific datasets. You can find more information about working with other application objects in the previous and following lectures. Thank you for your attention, and I hope to see you next time.